back to my channel today, and we are doing a brand new Sims for us people today. And so today is definitely going to be a really interesting day because I am building not so cheap tiny living home for my current household who are recently graduates from the University of Britchester with a lot of student debt. And so I thought it'd be kind of a good way to build them a small home, yet affordable, air quotes, affordable home for them to live in to start their brand new life together as newlyweds, recent grads, and soon to be having their very first child. And they are called Briella and Bradford Tomlin. Bradford is an engineer at some company in Oasis Springs as an engineer, and then we have Briella as a elementary school teacher at the Oasis Springs school for young kids. And so I thought, why not build them a home, their first home, and see where life takes them. And this is actually in my current household save file with Larissa Roberts, who is a freelance botanist who lives in Oasis Springs, like a couple of houses down from them. And I want them to become friends just because I want Larissa to have friends, to connect with people, and, just be more connected in the community because she used to live in Oasis Springs and she used to go to University of Britchester like years before, or no, yeah, years before Bradford and Briella. Like she's a little bit older than them, but not that old. Like maybe 3 years older than them. So like not that far off. And since with Briella and Bradford being newlyweds and recent graduates, I wanted them to have a house that was very small and kind of more of like a starter home for them because they did take out a house loan. Like they have student debt and they have house loans. And I mean, we don't technically have house loans in The Sims 4. I'm just kind of playing off of a story that I kind of made up on my own that made sense to me where they could actually afford this house because it is not a starter home. I tend to build my houses very small but very expensive because I use a lot of clutter and I use a lot of landscaping. And I didn't really want to do a lot of landscaping, so I kind of made it a little bit more minimal on the side of air quotes minimal, in my opinion, was not making it too expensive. And so I utilize a lot of debug items, a lot of debug plants, and a debug fence. And I know fences cost a lot of money. When you add one strip, it costs a lot of money. So I went into debug and I actually found a Strangerville fence that made sense with this build, especially with Oasis Springs in a deserty area. So I kind of placed that fence around the house on the back side and a little bit on the front side a little bit. I think so. I'm not really sure. We'll get there in the, later in the build. But I wanted to make sure that the backyard was decently good. I added a pool, I added some lounge chairs, I added one of the clothing lines from Laundry Day stuff and the laundry bucket. And I think I also placed down a patio table with a grill in the backyard. So you have some space to entertain and some space to relax. So I gave them the necessities, things that they needed. And going along with the interior of the house, I didn't realize how small it was until I actually started, going into the interior. So I decided not to close everything off. I made everything pretty much open besides the bathroom. And so it's pretty much more of an open planned house. So like the bedroom, the kitchen, the living room, and quote unquote the office / dining room are all open planned. And I like how I actually did the whole thing, not gonna lie, because I did this on a live stream a couple of days ago last week when we got Tiny Living, and it came out pretty well. It took me over 4 hours to build, 2.5 hours on a live stream, and then an hour or so-ish on my own free time to finish the build. Took way too long, and you would think after making so many quote-unquote tiny homes in The Sims, you would think this would be very easy for me. Yeah, no. Every single time we get a brand new pack in The Sims, I'm like, great, I love it. Give me more content. And then I realize, wait a minute, hold up. If it takes me 2.5 hours, sometimes 3 to build a house this small, it's going to take me even longer. And I'm okay with that. Give me more content, please, and thank you. But you can see here where I'm actually doing the exterior of the house with the fences, and it's from Strangerville. And I love using debug so much, and it makes my builds, in my opinion, more personalized and more exciting, in my opinion, because whenever I build like a base game home and I don't use any debug, I feel like there's like no personality, no excitement, no sense of like purpose of living in that house if I don't use clutter. So I use a lot of like, in-game items and some debug items like some backpacks, some packages, some unused mail, some open mail, cellular phones, like those little things to show that someone actually lives here and it's just not an empty home for any rando sim, NPC sim, Eliza Pancakes, to live in and utilize it however they want. So I wanted to make sure that they had, their own personal items in it and their own personal like touch to make it their own. And I really love utilizing a lot of, the debug items on the inside, especially on the outside, pretty much mostly just the plants. And when I landscape, pretty much all my builds, the landscaping takes me forever because I use everything to my disposal to make it all lush and exciting and cool looking. And then I realized that half of the build price is just the landscaping. So it's like, let's not do that. And like, let's just use the debug plans where it's free. Because when it's free, it's for me. And that's what I did. And I had the idea of like making a fake garage. Don't know why I started like thinking about doing that. So I was like, let's make a fake garage on the outside. Because since Bradford is an engineer, I thought it'd be kind of cool to give him a sense of his own personal space, his man cave, or his man cave basically, or his shed in the backyard for his engineering. But that didn't work out, so I kind of scrapped the whole thing and went on with like making whatever I could. So I think probably like in their next home in the future after they have their first kid or second kid, I'm not really sure where the first kid's actually gonna go. I mean, it's a very tiny, tiny home. So they might have to replace one of the they might have to like detach the bookshelf that's on the bed or something to put the crib and maybe the toddler bed. I really do not know because they are recently graduates from Britchester, and I'm like, they got student loans out the yin yang. They were not, they were middle class, but they didn't really have like a lot of, help when it came to tuition and, scholarships. They were just thrown into the thing willy nilly with whatever they had. And they had good grades in school. They got a scholarship here and there. They did well in their academics. Their GPA was great, 4.0 all the time. But they had to take out so many student loans just to pay the amount that they had to pay because I installed a mod where it gave me higher tuition. And so it's not, in your generic 1,000 simoleon tuition price. It's like 20 something thousand simoleons that you have to pay for, university, like real life. And so I love utilizing mods to make my game more realistic, and being able to do that with Zero's mods make my gameplay slightly challenging but more entertaining for me to continue to play with these sims like the way I do. And I was like, wait a minute, maybe installing that mod was not a good idea, but it kind of helped in a way with my story that I was going off of, because when you're fresh out of college, you get a teaching job and an engineering job, and the income's like kind of decent, it kind of works well in your favor. And I know sometimes when you graduate from university in The Sims, not sure about real life, but in The Sims, once you graduate, you kind of start off at a higher level in your career. So I did that with them, but I kind of demoted them like 2 levels in their career just because I wanted them to struggle a little bit, but still have that signing bonus that they have always wanted. So that's what I did with them. And it might seem bad, but I wanted to make it seem realistic because sometimes my Sims, like bought pancakes, for example, he graduated from Britchester with honors and did super well in everything. He may cheated, here or there, but he graduated with honors. And when he entered into the law career, he was able to get into level 9 of the law career, which is crazy to think about, but it just seemed too easy. And I don't like easy gameplay. I like struggling in The Sims. I like making my Sims poor, which is why I make these expensive houses to make them, actually go forth their dreams of actually buying that house. I don't know why I do that, but it's just a given. It's just what I do. I won't stop. Maybe. Who knows? We'll have to figure that out at some point. But in the distant future, I do want to be able to make homes that my Sims can actually afford when they're fresh out of university, because with my cats and dogs family, Nina Larson, she's gonna be going into her very first year of college, and I want her to achieve all her goals, all her dreams, and live the best college life that she can go for. But once she graduates with Darius, he is a contractor. He didn't finish high school, so he's gonna get his GED or Sim SGD. No, SGED. Sims, whatever GED stands for, but he's gonna get that diploma from high school, and I want him to be able to work on his skills and the handiness skill. And with these new things and new ideas coming out the yin yang of The Sims, I thought it'd be kind of cool where he is contracted, air quotes contracted, to build homes for these Sims. And I want him to do that, kind of build up Willow Creek or, Newcrest or whatever. Because I have this building series idea in my mind that I've been playing off of for a while. And I mean, I've done it before in the past. It was called Design and Decorate. Season 1's already done. And I kind of want to bring that back because with Darius being a contractor and, Nina having some good painting skills and interior design skills, it could work really well in their favor to kind of build that business for them. And I have a random idea. Crazy idea. Fun idea. Fun, crazy, weird idea. What if, what if I actually made a fake website, like a real website, but fake website that's not going to actually be a thing? What if I make a website for Darius's business as a contractor? I don't know why I think of these things out, just random things that just pop into my head while I'm talking to myself, 9 hours out, 12 hours of the day. Seems normal, right? But I go to school. I'm in university right now, my last year, and my major is all about interactive design and making websites, apps, whatever that users can interact with. And I was like, what if I just use my actual degree and make a fake website for a sim that they can kind of play off of with actual, real life things, actual knowledge of a contractor on a website. But what the crazy thing here? Here's a weird thing. What if I make this website, I publish it out there in the world, and then an actual contractor or an actual person goes to the website and it's I would like to contract you to build me a house. I would I would not know how to respond to that. I mean, I probably would, but then I'll explain the whole thing to them, the whole idea on why I made that website and why it just seems so real. My brain is stupid, but you never know. You never know what could come out of these things. So I want to be able to make this project of utilizing The Sims to make real life things that have a huge impact, whether, it's social media or contracting or art or whatever, or making a social movement in The Sims. I don't know. I just have all these ideas in my head that I want to make so many things, but I don't have the time just yet. But I will do it though, because I'm working on my senior overview project and I might actually take that idea and actually make it a thing. So you'll see it happen eventually. I'll make a video about it, scrolling through the website, doing all the things this is Darius Daniel Grove, his website, his little bio, his things that he can do, his services, his contact info, his Twitter, and all the things that could make it seem real. That's my idea. That's my idea that I have as of right now. But anyway, enough of like my crazy, wacky idea that I just went off on a tangent. But back to the build. Like I said, Briella and Bradford, recent grads, trying to figure out how they're going to survive in this, up and coming world. It's 2020, trying to figure out what they want to do with their life. If they want to start a family like right away or wait a couple of years after they, settle into their new job, maybe got a promotion or two, and was able to afford maybe an extension onto their house on a brand new lot. And I think if they end up actually wanting to expand on their house, I'll probably take their existing house that they have with some minor changes and save it to the gallery and then plop it onto a bigger lot, because I don't really see them having a whole brand new house like right away. So I might be able to like, extend one side of the houses to make it a little bit bigger, or I might just eventually just build them a brand new house. We'll have to see, because like I know on the left side of the house is like just straight up flat, and I could expand onto that, like maybe adding a attached garage to it, or an extra room, or adding a second floor or an extension to their house to make it seem a little bit bigger than it is. Or just, I don't know. We'll have to see what their plans are like. We'll have to see how, their plans will be in the future, if they have kids or they don't have kids, or just wanting to live, the married life for a little while before they settle into something very, very, very major, like childbirth and kids and other bills. And it's going to be a lot for them. And I think it's going to be okay to give them like that set of, responsibility in the future. But like for right now, I want them to focus on their jobs, their life, paying off their student loans, and then going off from there. And we'll probably see an update of them or two in the future of where they are right now, and we'll go off from there. But as for, them making friends in this community area, I want them to become friends with Larissa Roberts, and I might have them hang out or two at the coffee shop that I have already built. You haven't seen the speed build yet, but there's going to be a coffee shop in Oasis Springs for the save file that I want to eventually plop into my actual save file that I'm building, and kind of just see where it goes, because they don't know each other. And so maybe they could kind of connect from both being, or all three of them being, recent grads or just graduates from the University of Britchester. University of Britchester. I said that weird. Just because like they can kind of play off, the struggles, or the professors and the homework and what they're doing now, and like where are they living and what they're doing with their life and their social life, their everything basically. And they kind of connect off of that, and maybe become more than friends, and maybe Briella or Bradford or both could actually join Larissa's Gardner Club. And Larissa was going to join into the, not, I think they're called the Renegades. Not really sure what the planting gardening club is called from Get Together, but she was going to join that club, but she kind of thought that maybe it wasn't the best fit for her, because Claire Bjornson, awful person, very snotty. She may seem very nice and elegant, which she is. Elegant on the outside, not so nice on the inside. But she may seem very nice, elegant, very, well-rounded, awesome person. But once you join her club, she has strict rules on what you have to do and how you're gonna do it, and you gotta follow her rules, or it's like her way or the highway. Like there's no other option. You got to follow her rules or you have to get out. And so once Larissa kind of was going to join the club, and it kind of had more of a, I would say, an introduction of like all the members and like their ideas and what they want to do, how to expand and grow the club to be more, profitable, and, out there in the world where people can, see they're actually good people. But when she like kind of had that initial meeting with them, mostly more with Clara, she didn't really like, her attitude. The way she kind of like said things to her, like, oh, you're low class, you're a nobody, you don't really have a degree, you're just, you're just trash. And I don't really like people in real life and in The Sims. Mostly Eliza and Clara and Nancy and Judith Ward. All awful people. But like when you insult people that I love and know, it just never works out well. And so she, like I said, Larissa, she had the idea, the intention of like maybe I should just start my own club and and be my own boss, basically. Like her mother literally told her, be your own boss, don't work for anyone else but yourself, and grow your own business. And that, I think that was like kind of like the spark moment where she realized, "Look, maybe my mom was right. Maybe she was like literally telling me something that I should have done years ago and just done it for myself." But I think she had to go through like all this like trial and tribulations, like all the mistakes that she wanted to make, or like all the mistakes that she had to do to get to the point where she is now, if that makes any sense. So right now she's gonna start her own club, her own gardening club, and kind of compete with Claire's club, or it might be Mila Munch's club, or it might be both. I really don't know. But she's gonna kind of compete with that gardening club from Windenburg to show that she has, what it takes to be the best gardener in the world. And they might go to competitions. I don't know, but we'll have to see. And so that is why she's kind of making friends with Briella and Bradford and seeing if they're interested in joining her club and kind of like, hanging out a little bit more. And even Larissa, she has some true intentions, some good, true intentions of making friends, growing her business, and winning a very, a high prestige gardening competition. And that's why Bradford was as an engineer, and then with Briella being an elementary school teacher, she can have her, her students kind of take on a project or gardening project to help better the community of Oasis Springs. And I want to make a community garden in Oasis Springs in one of the smaller lots, because I feel like if I did on a bigger lot, it'll be too much. But I might change up the 50 by 50 lot in Oasis Springs as a national park, which it is, but make it so where, local gardeners can come and plant things, but that's more restricted, or more restricted and more reserved for Larissa's gardening club. But she might open up to all people. I'm not really sure what her thoughts are yet, but she will eventually figure out what she wants to do with her life, with her gardening club. But I will definitely change up the 50 by 50 lot in Oasis Springs and make it a community garden type national park where, gardeners can come, kids can come and play, a little barbecue on one of the sides, like all the things that are necessary for a park. So that's what I kind of want. I might add some terrain tools into like in the mix of things. We'll have to see how that all works. But until then, we got to do what you got to do to make your life worth living and be successful at it. And that being said, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually wrap up this voiceover right here and go into the screenshots. But I hope you guys actually really enjoyed the story that I told for this family, and kind of more so of talking about more of Larissa and what she is doing in her life.